Hi Pisces, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your August 2021 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bulls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Pisces. How will Pisces be affected by the August 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides. These four? No, just that one. Okay. How will Pisces be affected by the August 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels. Fantastic. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Fool and we have the Tower. I like that combination, actually. I know you're going to be thinking, oh my gosh, the Tower. No, the Tower is change. The Tower is divinity throwing us out of our comfort zone, which is exactly what's happening. And we have to take that risk. We have to kind of go down that rabbit hole and see what becomes. It's going to be quite extraordinary. We have the Knight of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, very much linking us with the full moon in Aquarius on the 22nd of August. If we have our natal energy, if we're born on the cusp of Aquarius, or we have Aquarius in our natal chart, or any air sign energy within our natal chart, that's going to come through very powerfully. We have the Knight, we have the page becomes the Knight. We see a growth coming to us in our inward self. It has to do around our prosperity. It has to do around a generational blessing, a way that we're calling forward wealth into our lives, success into our lives, really moving forward. We have the Eight of Cups. We're walking away from something we once thought we would love. The Five of Swords, there can be this sense of, I have to face something that I didn't want to face. Like, I didn't want to do this again. I didn't want to have to relive this memory or have this energy around me. But because of all the blessings that are coming, because of the alignment of this moon, and also we have the full moon in Pisces on the 20th of September, so that's going to be quite powerful for us. There's a sense here of, as we face it, we shatter it. And that's going to be really quite powerful. We have Temperance, Sagittarius energy. If we have Sagittarius within our natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully in the public arena. We need things to be balanced. We also need to see how that balance moves us forward. We have the Knight, the King of Cups, which is us. We are water sign energy, and we are represented by the cups in the minor arcana, by the moon in the major arcana, and so we have the King of Cups coming through. We are quite powerful in the public arena, and we have the Six of Pentacles. We need to balance our prosperity. We need to balance our power. We need to balance what is absolutely intrinsically important to us during this time and not let others steal it from us. So let us start talking about this moon. This moon on the 22nd of August is going to be one of the best moons out there. The full moon always tells us surrender to the divine, because that's where our power lies. The full moon also brings us face to face with conflicts, and the conflicts of desires, like our wants versus our needs, our home life versus our work life or school life. You know, we're going to see these conflicts coming forward. It can also be the conflicts of our wants and another person's wants, our needs and another person's needs. But what's also really intense about a full moon is that it increases our intuitive and emotional understanding. So it really starts to open up the door. Now, this is amplified by the full moon being in Aquarius. With the full moon in Aquarius, it says, show the world the real you. Step out of your comfort zone. Say, this is me, loud and proud. I am moving forward, showing the world who I truly am. So the full moon is going to be conjunct Jupiter, which brings optimism, generosity, good luck, and success. So our planetary alignment is really quite magnificent during this time. So as we have all these good things coming forward, this will bring us opportunities for personal, spiritual, and material growth. We need to take them. We can't talk ourselves out of it, because our hearts, we can just feel like, oh my gosh, so much has been changing. I don't know if this is going to be a good time. I don't know if I can actually, deliver. I have so many doubts. Yes, we have doubts. We have fears. That's part of being alive, but that's also really part and amplified by being a Pisces. So during this time, we need to give ourselves that respect that, okay, I'm facing this. I don't want to have to face this, but now I can embrace my blessings. Now, what we have to be mindful of is that with the sun being opposite Jupiter, this can really bring over optimism and arrogance. So the ego can really come in, and this is for everybody. So we can really see the ego coming into play for a lot of people. But because the full moon is conjunct Jupiter, we have the sense of happiness. We have the sense of contentment. We have the sense of, things are really going my way. And they are. We just can't let the ego take over. And we also can't think that, oh my gosh, I'm always going to be riding on cloud nine. So just to kind of have our feet firmly planted on the ground, have ourselves really embracing our understanding, our knowledge, our wisdom, our soul, that's going to be so important during this time, to remember to be thankful, and also, to keep a gratitude journal, or to just say out loud, I'm thankful for. And it can be, I'm thankful for that when I was online at the local corner store, the person in front of me let me go first because I only had one thing and they had a whole shopping cart. So I'm thankful for that. It can be the littlest thing, but just random acts of kindness need to be things that we are thankful for, and need to be things that we perpetuate within our world. Venus is going to be trine Saturn during this time, which is ideal for finding love and commitment. So for everybody looking for love, this is the time to really kind of amplify that search. Or if we're in love with somebody, this is the time to let them know. We have this really cool, sensible approach and steady affection. So the sensible approach to love and steady affection, which doesn't sound very romantic, right? It's not a whole wall of roses imported from, wherever. It's not, the big fireworks in the sky type of thing, but it's the little things that matter, because we do the big acts. And part of me really feels like we do the big acts for everybody else. And it can be if our partner really likes the big acts, but if our partner is a quieter person, we do the big acts for everybody else. But it's the little things. It's saying, I'm making a cup of tea, would you like one? I'm going to get myself a sandwich, what would you like? From the corner deli. These type of things, they make the greatest difference. And that's going to be the way that we show our love. It's going to be the small little things that mean the most. And they've actually proven scientifically that, those are the things that make relationships stay together. So this is a time where this quiet, sensible approach to love really makes all the difference. We also have to come to the understanding and be aware that we will show love differently than other people around us. Now, it can be our partners, it can be, the people that we're interested in, it could be the people that we just love in our lives, our friends, our family, but we all show love differently. So we can't expect them to be the same as us. And this just became so clear to me. I was talking to one of my really good friends, and he was telling me how he has a hard time, giving a hug or saying, I love you. He's like, that's not the way I show my affection. And I thought, oh, wow, we could never date because I show my affection like that all the time. I say I love you when I leave the room instead of saying bye. And he's like, no, that's too much. So it was just really, really funny. And so here, it's just really being aware of another person's way of showing love. Their love language is going to be so important for our own happiness during this time. New romances can bloom in the most unexpected ways, so keep your eyes open. And this is the time where we can find our soulmate, or if we found our soulmate, really amplify that connection. If we haven't found our soulmate during this time, we don't have to freak out, because what we're doing is we're aligning ourselves with the energy to call forward love into our lives, to find that soulmate, to embrace love and beauty and prosperity. For those of us in existing relationships, we find this new closeness to our partners. We, have this great connection, and we need to build off of it. I read this one study where they said that you need to talk 90 minutes a week with your partner, just to keep that connection, just to keep yourselves interested in each other's lives. And that is not your partner talking for 90 minutes straight and you being able to say, oh yeah, I agree, every now and then. It has to be a give and take of conversation. That is super important. So if it's having a cup of tea, having a glass of wine, whatever it is that you do, to have this ritual where you sit down and you talk, you connect. That's so important. If you have little kids or if you have children, it can be hard, but maybe even impossible at times, but just being able to connect and have it add up to those 90 minutes, that's everything. Now, Mars is going to be trine Uranus, which brings us initiative, excitement, and adventure. We need our freedom during this time, Pisces, and we can't have anybody take it away from us. So as we're showing the world who we truly are, we need to be free. We need to embrace adventures, even if they're just mental, even if it's just, I always wanted to, learn how to animate. I always wanted to learn that software. I always wanted to read that book. Or watch that movie. This is the time to go for it. This is the time to do it, to embrace freedom, to embrace adventure, to open up those doors. We have this strong instinct towards the daring, and that's going to be a really good thing. It's a really good thing for this moon. This moon amplifies risk-taking, but we have to be mindful of the risks that we're taking, that we're not just taking risks to take risks. This is also going to be a time where our passions are increased in all our relationships, but also in life. So embracing our love, our hearts, what we desire, that it's going to be a beautiful part of who we are and a beautiful way that we let ourselves shine. Now, the new moon always brings us to this place of new beginnings. A new start is coming. New beginnings are on their way. And the new moon during this time is really rather extraordinary because the new moon is going to be trine Uranus, which is extremely powerful. It says here, it's a time to give rather than to take. And we can see that as almost maybe a scolding. It's time to give rather than to take. Don't be selfish. But what it means here is give of your energy. Give of, what you want to create within the world. Not saying, oh, I just still have to learn more. I just still have to take more. This is a time to say, this is what I'm giving. This is how I'm moving forward. This is who I am. There's this sense of rapid positive change coming in, which leads us to freedom, which is already what we're aligned to want and desire and really embrace because of the full moon. And remember, the power of the full moon lasts 2 weeks after the full moon has come into, its fullness. I guess it's into its full power. Excuse me. This makes us feel like we can step out of our comfort zone because we have this pull towards freedom. We have this pull towards rapid positive change. And this brings us new adventures and new innovations, new ideas, new outcomes. And it's a perfect time to step out of our comfort zone, personally, socially, not maybe instinctually, but like materially. Just opening up the door and saying, you know what, I really want to try this. And why the heck not? Why not give it a try? Now, why not embrace this adventure? This is a perfect time to widen our social circles and to understand that there's a harmonizing aspect to Uranus. And this is going to be the real kicker. This is going to be the real extraordinary thing. That the harmonizing aspect of Uranus increases and enhances our intuitive power. And it gives us flashes of insight, meaning that if we're looking to increase our intuitive abilities by reading the tarot, throwing runes, whatever it is that we might do through, oracle cards, whatever it is, this is a time that we are more in tuned than ever before. And because we also are coming out of, or having the power of the Aquarius full moon around us, it has already increased our intuitive ability just by being in an Aquarius full moon. So if you are looking to increase your psychic awareness, this is the time for you. This is the time to open up the door and say, this is me, this is what I want, this is where I'm headed, and this is what I desire. It's a great time also to tackle those issues that have been stumping you, those things that have been overly anxiety filling, and you're going to see yourself being able to put things in order that were just chaotic before. This is a time to let our gifts shine. And if we let our gifts shine, we can see that this new moon becomes an extraordinary gateway forward to the full moon on the 20th of September in Pisces. And this full moon in Pisces says balance the spiritual with the practical, which is one of the goals of Pisces within this incarnation. It is to balance within this life. It's to balance the spiritual and the practical, to see ourselves coming together and really embracing the power, the beauty, the opportunities that are given to us because of this full moon in Aquarius, because of this new moon in Virgo, and to say that there is more here than meets the eye. And I am learning how to harness this openly, succinctly, and just exquisitely. And that becomes a driving force for us. It leads us to seeing the energy that we have to be mindful of during this time. What is the energy that Pisces needs to be mindful of? And it's strength. It's Leo energy. It's brute force strength, meaning more than the strength of character and will. And we can really be caught up in somebody who has these really big muscles, who, is either super fit, or I just see somebody who is intimidating physically. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be their physique, because I am seeing physically, but it can also be just their presence. They have this strength to them. They have this "you will follow me" kind of mentality to them. So that's going to be something that we're really drawn to. We're going to think, wow, they're so strong, or they have so much confidence. No, they're just going to be manipulative, and they're going to be rather ego-driven. So we have to be mindful of that. What is the chakra energy that Pisces needs to be not mindful of? What is the chakra energy for Pisces, angels, and spirit guides? Show me clearly. And it's 3. It's the sacral chakra, the crown chakra, and the solar plexus chakra. So with the crown chakra, with the solar plexus chakra, with the sacral, there we go, I'll get it right. With the sacral chakra, we have relationships. We are going to see a strengthening of our relationships as we embrace the crown chakra meditation, a coming together of the heart and the mind, which is incredibly important for you, Pisces. It brings us to the solar plexus chakra, which is self-mastery. We start to see ourselves falling into alignment. We start to see that the chakra alignment of ourselves starts to make more sense, brings us harmony. We start to see our energy aligning, and we start to see our power of intuition, understanding, focus, ideas, ideals coming into play, guiding us forward. It moves us to this place where we release so much negativity from this life and from past lives to be able to move forward in peace, harmony, but power. And this brings us to the Fool. This brings us to the place where people say, oh my gosh, it's so foolish if you don't follow convention, if you don't walk the road that they walked, if you don't see things the way that they do. And that is not true. This is a time where we need to look at what we want to create, at what we want to cultivate, at what we understand about ourselves, and to say, I'm taking that leap. I'm going after it. I might be considered a fool, but remember, every single hero is first laughed at as a fool. Every single innovator is a fool. Every single person who thinks outside the box, who embraces the arts, who, becomes, this trailblazer, is a fool first and laughed at. It's time to embrace the rabbit hole. It's time to say, as long as this is a place of love, light, and positivity, as long as this is me going after what my soul craves, this is okay. And it pushes me out of my comfort zone. It can be that I'm taking this risk because everything already got all shook up. Meaning, I started the tarot after I had a near-death experience, after I almost passed away from being really, really sick. And it was overwhelming and it was terrifying. And I thought, like, oh my gosh, this is just it. I had never been that sick before in my life. And this was a time where it was like, either I grab the bull by the horns and I go after what I want from life, or I stayed in an existence that was just, it was taking away my everything. It was taking away all my happiness, all my joy. I was just existing instead of thriving, instead of living. And that can be our tower moment. That could be the moment where we look at it and we say, wow, okay, I walked through that darkness. Now it is the time for me to embrace, for me to go after what I need, to go after what I want. It's also this sense of something coming in, something making us think a different way, something that shakes us, something that, has our eyes opening in a way that we didn't think that we needed our eyes opened. And all of a sudden it shakes us to the core one way or another. It doesn't mean that people have to understand it. It doesn't mean that it has to be something big or traumatic. It can be very, very small. It can be something that somebody says, a picture that we see, and it's like, wow, how do I embrace this? Like, how do I be able to incorporate something like this, or this beauty, or this intensity into my life? And it brings us to this place of blessings, of generational blessings coming forward. We talk about generational curses. Generational curses are anger and hurt that is passed down from one generation to another. It's negative words, it's negative mindsets that are passed down. Blessings are the opposite. They're the positive ones. And we have blessings. Some of us might not. Some of us might have had such a traumatic upbringing that there are no blessings. But this is the time where we start to say, I'm breaking that chain. And the blessing that I am taking is that I am starting a new line of prosperity, success, bounty, and abundance in my life. This is a time where we start to see ourselves saying, I can instead of I can't. Where we start to see ourselves sharing ideas and opening up doors and saying, well, why not? Why not share wisdom and knowledge? Why not, look at things differently? Why not, expand and see and become and understand? That brings me wealth. And during this time, we have wealth through the opening of our own ideas, the understanding of our mind, the being a student of our thoughts, of getting messages from spirit of wisdom and desire and the way that we want to move forward and what we're seeing and what we're understanding about ourselves. We are going to see, excuse me, that how we are moving forward is by being a student of this moon, by being a student of the blessings that the planetary alignment has for us, by being a student of the bravery to show the world who we truly are, by being a student of what we desire, what we want, what we need, and what we love. And it brings us to also being the student of our mind, of the power of our voice, of the power of our questions, of the power of our discoveries. It brings us to the Knight of Swords. And this is where a hero's energy comes in once again. It's a hero's energy to embrace the fool, to say, I am walking down that path, I'm seeing where it takes me. I might be foolish, I might fail, but I might succeed. And that success is worth the risk of failure. So it brings us to the Knight of Swords. It brings us to the cutting away of doubt and fear. It brings us to being the hero of the story. This moon makes us a hero. It doesn't mean that it endows us with magical powers. It means that it lets us be a little bit brave. And it lets us look at things without the weight of the world on our shoulders, even if it's just for an instant, even if it's just this flash of ideas while we're in the shower and our mind is free and we're not thinking about everything that we have to do and everything and everybody who needs us, where we're just allowed to embrace being in the moment. And that starts to open up the door. We can find meditations that let us be in the moment and starts to open up doors for us. I love the Wim Hof breathing meditation. I can always tell when I'm not as aligned as I should be, when I can't hold my breath for even 30 seconds. And it's like, oh my gosh. Be it, I'm also getting over the flu, so I have to be kinder to myself. But here, it's like, cut through those doubts and those fears. See yourself opening, discovering, becoming, understanding. See yourself being more and embracing the throat chakra, embracing the way that your words and your desires and your insights cloak you, protect you, but also are the first things that people see kind of about you during this time, that you have a way with words, you have a way with expression through paint, through poetry, through, pottery. It does not matter. You have this way of expression that just absolutely can be awe-inspiring. It could be coding and, mathematics can be your expression, or, being a surgeon. It doesn't matter. You're embracing it now. In your heart, you're walking away from something you once thought you would love. And this is something that brings conflict. It's kind of like, oh, maybe I always thought I would be here. Maybe I thought this would work out, the way that I wanted to, and it didn't. And now I feel chaotic at times. This is going to be a time where being able to say, this isn't right for me, is astoundingly powerful. And why this is astoundingly powerful is because it opens up the door for us. It's like, I don't have to try and make a pair of shoes fit. I always think of Cinderella when I think of this. Because in the traditional Cinderella, and I believe it was the Grimms, or I don't know, but her stepsisters, one cut off the back of her foot, one cut off the front of her foot to be able to fit into the slipper. They marred themselves, they maimed themselves to try and get the prince, right? To try and have the happily ever after. And with the Eight of Cups, it's like, I'm not going to maim myself to fit somebody else's dream, to fit my old self's dream, to fit what other people want me to love or understand or be or see. I'm embracing what I need in this moment, in this time, in this place. And it brings us to having to face something that we didn't want to face. Now, it can be just having to walk away. It can be as simple but also as complex as that, where this moon is saying there's more out there. And it's not telling us that, life is going to be overwhelming happiness 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Because it isn't, because then happiness isn't anything. It becomes boredom or contentment or laziness or whatever. So here we start to see ourselves embracing a new journey. And that can be intense and overwhelming for us. It also brings up a problem, and I don't know exactly what this problem is. It has to do with almost thinking like every time I put my heart out there, things fail. Every time I try to embrace what I love, I can't quite get there. We have to take that mindset and throw it away, because it's not true. What is true is that what isn't right for us hasn't stuck. And like the Eight of Cups, when we walk away from what we once thought we would love, that's going to be a good thing, because it's not imprisoning ourselves in a world that we as mere human beings thought would be good for us, but that spirit, divinity, this higher power of understanding knew wouldn't be. So by opening this door, it leads us to temperance. It leads us to balance in our waking world, greater insight, greater understanding, a balance of our soul, ourselves, of what we desire, our dreams, our wishes, a transmutation of who we are and where we're headed and what we desire, seeing ourselves more openly and more honestly every single day. It brings us to being then, as we find this balance, as we embrace this temperance of spirit, this temperance of desire, it brings us to the King of Cups. It brings us to, not the King of Cups, the King of Cups. I always think with the dagger on it that it's supposed to be the King of Swords. Or a knight. So with the King of Cups coming into play, that's us. That's us as the king in our court cards, in our minor arcana representation of ourselves. And as the King of Cups, we do not rule anybody else's life. So the King of Cups has the most sacred feminine energy within him of the kings. And that's a good thing, because that's what balances us. That's what lets us step back and say, I am fierce, I am determined, I am focused, but I'm also in love with my life and myself. It doesn't mean that we're there yet, but what it means is that I cannot rule another person. I see that with my nephew, who's 2 years old and the stubbornest person I have ever met. And you cannot force him. You cannot. He has his personality, and as young as he is, you have to give him rules and boundaries and timeouts and things like that when he is acting wrong. But you cannot change him, and he's so little. I mean, you can, but that would be cruel. It would be cruel to take the spirit out of him and to break him. Some people do that, but I don't necessarily think that's a right thing to do. And so what we learn from the King of Cups is that I live by example. I live by example of love and acceptance and understanding. I live by example of the depth of the water that I am drinking, that I am embracing within myself, that I am moving forward in. And as I do this, I embrace a new world, a new power, a new instinct, a beautiful being of me. And knowing that everybody else, they have to live their lives. They have to make their mistakes. They have to, forge their blessings. But I cannot live for them. And I rule over them by giving them an example to look at and to say, that is what I want to be. Maybe giving rules and, kind of boundaries, but I do not have the control. So often we think we can make other people. We can't. We can't forge them into what we want them to be. They have to forge themselves into what they want to be. And this is the king that says, I see that. And I think he's my favorite king. Him and the King of Swords. They're both astoundingly different, but they're my favorites because they're so intensely themselves. And it brings us then to the Six of Pentacles. And it's like, I need balance. I need the giving and giving to stop. I need the taking and taking and taking to stop. I need balance around prosperity, around success, and around the way that the bounty is opening in my life and for myself. I embrace this balance, and I embrace me. And we also have to be mindful in the public arena that people are going to try and take advantage of us. They're going to think because we're not trying to rule over them, that we're not ruling at all. And that is going to be as far from the truth as possible. We are ruling our lives and ourselves with determination and focus. It brings us to the power of the moon. So let's see here. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. At our root, we have luck is on your side. Attraction. Call it forward. Take aim. Because luck is on your side. It's time to go for it, Pisces. You and your loved ones are safe. Have faith. Everything that needs to be protected is protected. Have faith. Believe in the impossible. Because you are blossoming in a way that you never expected. In a way that you thought impossible. A new romantic cycle begins. And it is beautiful. I like that. Believe. Let yourself believe in the impossible, Pisces. Because the impossible becomes possible during this time. It is time to take aim. It is time to trust the beauty of our own songs. And as we do so, we have to be mindful. We have to embrace the subconscious message of the moon, which is adjustments are required. It's not all going to be the way that we want it. We have to kind of let ourselves embrace the form of it. Embrace the way that it flows and moves through us. Success, bounty, insights, ideas. We are creating them. Adjustments are required. Creation. It's part of creation. The seed has to adjust to growing, has to adjust to breaking out of the shell and pushing through the dirt and, growing and becoming bigger and bigger and bigger till it becomes a flower or a tree or whatever it is that it was meant to be. And that is what we are going to see here for ourselves. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Princess of Wands. These are people who's interesting, it's all fire sign energy to be mindful of. These are people who are going to be overly arrogant. I deserve. It is my right to have. And it isn't. It isn't their right to be given anything by us. The Princess of Wands acts like a princess in her negative sense. And so during this time, we have to just be mindful. We have to be mindful of people being so entitled that they make us think that, yeah, of course they deserve this. Like, why wouldn't I give this to them? It's like, who the heck are they and have they earned it? It brings us then to our subconscious chakra message, which is personal power. This is the solar plexus chakra. This is embracing our personal power. It moves us with the solar plexus chakra of self-mastery, with a sense of, I am in alignment with myself. I am embracing my power, my understanding. I believe in me. I believe in my gut feel. I believe in the power of my voice, the power of my instincts. It moves us then to our subconscious rooted energy, which is the death card, the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. We are going to see that things transform. We are going to see that we ourselves transform during this time. And it can be something that might be rather traumatic. We might think, oh no, I always wanted to stay exactly as I am. But as Plato said, 400 BC, that all is flux and nothing stays the same. And, well, BCE. And by saying that, it's like everything is changing. And everything will always be changing. And so with the Death card, where we have this transformation of self, we need to embrace it. We need to understand what we desire and what we want and who we are. And understand that we will always be transforming until we do the final transformation. And that is beautiful. It can be overwhelming, but it is beautiful. It moves us to our subconscious inner self, which is the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles is we're going to try and balance everything else without balancing us. And that's going to be a mistake. Our emotions can run really high. We can be really sensitive, really in tuned with everything around us. We kind of have to step back and say, what can I control? How can I move forward? What is it that I need? I have my feet, and I need my feet firmly planted on the ground, and then I can balance what needs to be balanced. I can balance an eternity that brings me wealth, that brings me prosperity, that brings me new opportunities. It leads us then to the subconscious emotional message, which is the Ten of Wands. I'm putting down the burden that I've been carrying, because now it is the time to blossom and bloom. Now it is the time to see the sky and not just simply the dirt on my shoes. I'm putting down the burden and being able to rise to heights I hadn't imagined. It's a completion of a cycle passionately. Fire, determined creation, with what we are passionate about, with the reason we get out of bed in the morning. And our subconscious public self is the Seven of Wands. I'm learning when to fight and when to say, this is a corruption of my energy. This is a snatcher of my dreams and my hopes and my wishes, and I will not be a part of it. And so here we learn when to fight and when to say, it's not worth my time. And that is going to be really powerful. All right, Pisces. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the beauty that this moon has to offer. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Pisces, and may you have a blessed moon.